Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving deep into a fascinating, albeit somewhat grim topic, the history of the world's most famous prisons. These aren't just places where people were locked away. They're time capsules, reflecting the societies that built and used them. They tell stories of punishment, power, reform, and sometimes even escape. We'll be traveling through history, across continents, and examining structures that have housed everyone from petty thieves to political prisoners. Get ready for a journey into the dark underbelly of justice and incarceration. We'll start our journey with one of the oldest prisons, and possibly the first that comes to mind for many, the Tower of London. Most people associate it with royalty, and it was certainly a royal residence for a long time. But its role as a prison, particularly for high-profile individuals, is a significant part of its history. Think of figures like Anne Boleyn, executed within its walls. The tower's thick walls and imposing presence made it an ideal place to keep enemies of the crown under lock and key, often without trial. Its history as a prison stretches back centuries, and it remains a chilling reminder of the power of the monarchy. Moving on from the Tower of London, let's consider another iconic prison, the Château d'If. Situated on a small island off the coast of Marseille, France, its primary purpose was defense. But its isolation quickly led to its repurposing as a state prison. It gained immense fame through Alexandre Dumas' novel, The Count of Monte Cristo. While the character of Edmond Dante is fictional, the Château d'If's reputation for harsh conditions and near-impossible escape attempts is very real. The building itself is simple, but the location made it virtually impenetrable, and that's what contributed to its legacy. Now, let's hop across the Atlantic to delve into the history of Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Opened in 1829, it revolutionized the concept of imprisonment. This wasn't just about locking people up, it was about reform. Eastern State implemented the Pennsylvania system, also known as the separate system. Prisoners were kept in solitary confinement, with the idea being that this isolation would lead to penitence and rehabilitation. The architecture itself was designed to inspire awe and dread, furthering the psychological impact of imprisonment. The Pennsylvania system, while well-intentioned, faced considerable criticism. Many believed that solitary confinement drove inmates insane, leading to a far cry from reform. Charles Dickens, after visiting Eastern State, voiced his strong disapproval of the system. He described the experience of solitary confinement as a living tomb and strongly questioned its effectiveness and humane aspects. Despite the criticisms, Eastern State remained a significant influence on prison design worldwide. Let's move further west and examine Alcatraz Island, arguably the most famous prison in the United States. Located in the middle of San Francisco Bay, the Rock housed some of America's most notorious criminals, including Al Capone and Robert Stroud, the Birdman of Alcatraz. Alcatraz was known for its harsh conditions, strict discipline, and its reputation for being escape-proof. The cold waters, strong currents, and isolation of the island served as natural deterrents. Alcatraz's history as a prison only lasted from 1934 to 1963, but its impact on popular culture is immense. Numerous movies, books, and documentaries have been made about the prison and its inmates. The mystique surrounding Alcatraz stems not only from its reputation for being inescapable, but also from the personalities of the criminals who were held there. The thought of these infamous figures confined within those walls continues to fascinate people. Now, we'll head back to Europe and explore Colditz Castle, a Renaissance castle in Saxony, Germany. During World War II, Colditz was used as a prisoner of war camp, specifically for officers who had repeatedly attempted to escape other camps. The castle's imposing structure, thick walls, and strategic location made it seem virtually impenetrable. However, that didn't stop Allied prisoners from devising elaborate escape plans. Colditz became renowned for its daring escape attempts, many of which were incredibly inventive. Prisoners built gliders, dug tunnels, and created disguises in their relentless pursuit of freedom. The story of Colditz is not just about confinement. It's a testament to human ingenuity, resilience, and the unwavering desire for liberty. The resourcefulness of the prisoners held there is truly remarkable. Switching gears, let's look at Robben Island in South Africa. This island, located off the coast of Cape Town, served as a prison for political prisoners, including Nelson Mandela, during the apartheid era. Robben Island represents the struggle against racial segregation and oppression. The prison conditions were harsh, and prisoners faced discrimination and mistreatment. Nelson Mandela spent 18 years of his 27 years of imprisonment on Robben Island. Despite the harsh conditions, he and his fellow prisoners used their time to educate themselves and each other, fostering a spirit of resistance and solidarity. Robben Island became a symbol of hope and the unwavering fight for equality. After the end of apartheid, Robben Island was transformed into a museum and a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a testament to the triumph of the human spirit. Let's journey to Russia and explore the Butyrka prison in Moscow. It's one of Russia's largest prisons and dates back to the 18th century. Over the centuries, it has housed a diverse range of prisoners, from revolutionaries to common criminals. Conditions in Butyrka have often been overcrowded and unsanitary, and its history is intertwined with periods of political upheaval and repression. Butyrka prison has held many famous individuals throughout its history. Prominent revolutionaries, writers, and political dissidents have all passed through its doors. The stories of these prisoners and the struggles they faced within its walls offer a chilling glimpse into the history of political persecution in Russia. It serves as a harsh reminder of the price some have paid for their beliefs. Returning to the United States, we have Sing Sing Correctional Facility in Ossining, New York. Constructed in the 1820s, it's one of America's oldest and most notorious prisons. Sing's name itself has become synonymous with incarceration. Its architecture and history reflect the evolving attitudes towards punishment and rehabilitation in the United States. Moving across the globe, let's examine Port Arthur in Tasmania, Australia. This former penal colony was established in the 1830s and housed convicts transported from Britain. Port Arthur was known for its harsh conditions and strict system of punishment. The goal was not only to punish the convicts, but also to rehabilitate them through hard labor and religious instruction. Port Arthur employed various methods of punishment, including solitary confinement, flogging, and hard labor. The prison also implemented a system of psychological manipulation designed to break the spirits of the convicts. Today, Port Arthur is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a stark reminder of Australia's convict past. It serves as a powerful symbol of human suffering and resilience. Let's talk about the concept of prison reform. Throughout history, attitudes toward imprisonment have evolved. Early prisons were often focused solely on punishment and deterrence. However, reformers began to advocate for more humane treatment of prisoners and a greater emphasis on rehabilitation. This shift led to changes in prison design, practices, and philosophies. The history of prison reform is marked by both progress and setbacks. Efforts to improve prison conditions have often been met with resistance due to concerns about cost, security, and public safety. Despite these challenges, reformers have continued to push for changes that promote fairness, justice, and the potential for rehabilitation. The debate about the purpose of prisons and the best way to manage them continues to this day. Let's consider the role of technology in prisons. Over time, technology has played an increasingly important role in prison security and management. From surveillance systems to electronic monitoring devices, technology is used to control inmates, prevent escapes, and maintain order. But there are also concerns about the ethical implications of using technology in prisons, particularly regarding privacy and human rights. Modern prisons face a unique set of challenges. Overcrowding is a persistent problem in many countries, leading to strained resources, increased violence, and decreased opportunities for rehabilitation. Mental health issues are also prevalent among prisoners, and many prisons struggle to provide adequate mental health care. Furthermore, there is ongoing debate about the role of prisons in addressing crime and promoting public safety. The privatization of prisons has become a controversial topic in recent decades. Private prison companies operate prisons under contract with governments. Proponents argue that private prisons are more efficient and cost-effective. However, critics raise concerns about potential conflicts of interest, reduced accountability, and the prioritization of profit over the welfare of inmates. The debate about private prisons continues to be a complex and important one. Let's look at prison escapes, which have captured the public imagination for centuries. From daring tunnel escapes to clever disguises, prisoners have employed a variety of methods to break free from their confinement. Some escapes have been successful, while others have ended in recapture or tragedy. Prison escapes often highlight the vulnerabilities of prison security and the lengths to which people will go to regain their freedom. Many famous prisons have been transformed into museums and tourist attractions. These sites offer visitors a glimpse into the history of incarceration and the lives of those who were confined within their walls. Prison tourism can be a controversial topic, as some argue that it trivializes the suffering of prisoners. However, others believe that it can raise awareness about the issues surrounding imprisonment and promote a deeper understanding of the past. Let's examine the influence of prisons on popular culture. Prisons have been a recurring theme in literature, film, and television for decades. These portrayals often reflect societal attitudes toward crime, punishment, and justice. While some fictional depictions of prison life are accurate, others are exaggerated or sensationalized. Regardless, prisons continue to fascinate and inspire storytellers. Thinking about the future of prisons, there's a growing emphasis on alternatives to incarceration. These include community-based programs, restorative justice initiatives, and drug treatment programs. The goal is to reduce reliance on imprisonment, address the root causes of crime, and promote rehabilitation. The effectiveness of these alternatives is still being evaluated, but they represent a promising direction for criminal justice reform. If you're interested in more historical dives, particularly into slightly darker subjects like this, subscribe and hit that like button. Let's briefly touch upon prisons for specific populations, such as women and juveniles. Women's prisons often have different characteristics and challenges than men's prisons. The needs of female prisoners, such as health care and family support, may be different. Similarly, juvenile detention facilities require specialized approaches that focus on rehabilitation and education rather than punishment. Finally, let's think about the ethical dilemmas surrounding imprisonment. Is imprisonment always the most just or effective response to crime? How do we balance the need for public safety with the rights and dignity of prisoners? These are complex questions that require careful consideration and ongoing dialogue. Understanding the history of prisons helps us to grapple with these ethical challenges and to strive for a more just and humane criminal justice system.